Hello and welcome back to another week of sowing. Busy week this week. We're getting to the point of sort of getting close to peak sowing time for me. The windowsills are rapidly filling up, partly thanks to the big tomato push I did last week. They've just started well, they've come through the surface, but they haven't unfurled the first cotyledon leaves yet. I would imagine that will happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. As soon as they get the first true leaves, they get potted on, and that will be when all of the windowsills will be absolutely heaving. Yeah, we haven't got masses of time left before they'll go out, maybe 6 weeks. So by the time they get to that stage after being potted on, so base of the pot is here, about that sort of height, 6 inches, 7 inches, that should be about the time when we hit the point where it's time to get them out. But it's finding space. I have commandeered all the kids' bedroom windowsills. Yeah, everywhere's heaving at the moment. But that doesn't stop me sowing. There's too many things to still sow that need to be sown. Just means that I've got to get the grow lights out. I don't generally use them early on in the season if I can help it, because they are quite expensive to run, because I run T5s rather than LEDs. T5s I've always found have just give better growth, but you are using 250-ish watts for those for 12 hours a day, so it can get quite expensive. Right, this week we're sowing quite a few things. Growing beetroot. This one is a solo F1. Normally I sow bolt hardy, and I do still have some bolt hardies put aside, but these came free with the magazine, so I thought I'd give them a go, quite honestly. So we'll be sowing some of those. I'll sow beetroot frequently throughout the year, because I like them quite small, sort of golf ball sized at absolute max. We can just eat them like snacks, so it's brilliant. Last week we planted a couple of types of cucumbers, which are the smaller sort of snack size ones that the kids just go through. These are for this week we've got ever faithful Marketmore. Love those ones. I've grown those every year for 20 years nearly. Well, must have been 20 years now. I first grew them when I was 8, so yeah, 32 years. Jesus Christ, that's a long time. Then we've got some Piccolo di Piaggio, which is a posh way of saying gherkin. It's a gherkin variety. We love pickled gherkins, so I always grow enough for preserving. I'll do probably 10 jars, 10 1-pint jars a year from those. Cauliflower, we planted some of that not that long ago. We planted the purple cauliflower last time, and I did say at the time that we'll be planting some all year round, which I will be, hence this now. I'm also going to put in some summer purple sprouting broccoli. This sort of matures late August if you're lucky, but more often into September, and keeps going through to October, November time. Love that. And that's different to the traditional sort of sprouting broccoli that you'd normally get, which sort of comes into fruition at this time of year. And I've got some of that out in the garden at the moment, which is just about coming into its own, and that is my favourite part of the year, is when I pick the first ones of those. We'll be planting some January King Savoy cabbage, ready for overwinter harvest. Good red cabbage, this one. Love this one, very tasty. Yeah, so yeah, a few things this week. Being prepared. I've pre-filled with salt, done the labels. I thought I'd try and shorten the massive amounts of time when you saw me doing very mundane things. What have we got here? We have got cauliflower and broccoli. So, same as with all other brassicas, and I've said this many times and I'll say it again, as soon as they get their head up, get them out under light, otherwise they'll go leggy as soon as you can look at him. In this case, what I'll do is I'll plant 2 seeds in each of these. Again, because I successionally sow, I'm not planting the huge quantities. I'm aiming really for half a dozen, no more than that, because I'll be sowing another batch in about 4 to 6 weeks, and another 4 to 6 weeks after that I'll get another batch, you know. I do have a very large quantity, I think it's about 40 in at the moment, which will be cut and frozen, ready for long-term storage. I just think it's much nicer fresh, so I do small batches of fresh throughout the year, and then the big glut typically I'll put in for overwintering when the space is free and otherwise not being used. Just that and broccoli, or calabrese, sorry, rather than true broccoli. The same again for those, you know. We'll harvest those, I would imagine, some point in May. Depends on what the weather keeps up like, because the weather at the moment is absolutely foul and is playing merry hell with growth. Fortunately, I've got raised beds, so I don't have the issue that some of my compatriots have got, which is massively waterlogged soil, causing rot off. It's been absolutely prevalent. I was speaking to some of the people on my allotments this week, and they were saying that they're so far behind in the season because they can't get anything in the ground because it's so badly waterlogged. Another benefit of no-dig / raised bed gardening is that because it's generally above ground, raised above, you don't have that issue. I'm a bit of an evangelist for that, I'm afraid, and I'm probably sure, I'm fairly certain that they're sick of hearing me say it. So yeah, that's those two. Just pop a little bit of soil on top. You don't want a lot again because these are quite small seeds. We won't be topping up more than a couple of mil really. Do the beetroot next. Beetroot is an unusual seed, quite a big seed. But each of these little corms can actually split and become more than one plant. I grow these in modular cell clumps, so I'll generally put 3 of these corms into each of these, and then what I do when it comes to harvest time is as they reach size, you typically have ones that have done better than others, so you'll have small, medium and large. You take the large ones, which gives more space for the smaller ones to grow out, and it's quite an effective way of staggering your harvest without having to successionally sow quite so many. Having said that, I will successionally sow. It just means that you'll have a decent whacker harvest over a fairly long period, because you're taking it, you might have half a bed sown in one succession, then another half a bed, and then another half a bed, etc, etc. It just means you're taking some from the first bed, some from the second bed, some from the third bed even sometimes, all at the same time. If we do have a glut, and it looks like we're going to have a glut, which happens from time to time, again, I'll take them, I'll slice them down and I'll pickle them for Christmas. We eat a lot of pickled food. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I really do like pickled beetroot and pickled red cabbage. I mean, I've still got pickled red cabbage from Christmas. That was January King as well. That was lovely. We still have probably 3 jars, I think, in the cupboard, so enough to see us through for a little while longer yet. Now we have in this one, because we don't want many cucumber plants, because I've already planted some. You know, my capacity in the polytunnel is probably a dozen-ish plants, because they have one 6 metre long, sorry, half of the polytunnel, so tomatoes one half, cucumbers the other, and then in front, in the tomato bed, you'll have melons trailing along the floor, and then on the cucumber bed in front, I'll have the sweet peppers and the chili peppers, and with surplus obviously going outside. So we will grow cucumbers and gherkins in here, and then the cabbage down this side. So we'll do the cabbage first. Again, same as before. A couple of seeds. Again, this time will probably be to get 2 from each of these, so it gives me a dozen of the red cabbage. I will sow these again in about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the weather, because I do like red cabbage, and it just gives me some that is harvestable in, say, October, November, and then some more that is harvestable sort of January, February, even up to now, really. You can store them, because it's a Savoy type, they do hold their shape reasonably well, but I prefer to take them fresh from the ground. Now these, they germinated fairly well last year, but these are a year old now, because this is the same seed packet I used last year. So rather than putting 1 in, I'm going to put 2 in. I will thin that down to the most vigorous, because I only want 3 plants really. About a month, depending on bed space, I might plant some more gherkins just for outdoor use, just because they're fairly versatile, and once they're preserved, you know, they sit there for a good couple of years, no question. These are brand new seed. I'll still plant 2 in each. Put 2 in each, and we'll just thin to the most vigorous. You know, these aren't hybrids. You know, these are open pollinated variety, market more. Normally, I keep my own and I grow my own. I do have some still of my own. However, I have the packet; it came free, so. What will happen is that I'll see how these go, and I'll give away my my own seed at the local seed swap. I've done a couple so far this year already, but I try and retain more than I need, so that I can be generous in giving away what I don't need. You know, I think when I did the Bristol seed swap, I took 45 packets of seed, and about half of those were home saved seed, the various things. You know, it's I think it's important to help others, and to just sort of support the gardening community as a whole. You know, these seed swaps are a good social gathering. Right, and that is that for me this week. When we come back next week, I will show you how the main batch of tomatoes has gone on. I think they should have opened their first lot of leaves. Give me 2 seconds and I'll show you what they look like right now. See, they've come up. I haven't opened the cotyledonal leaves yet, and a lot of them. So we'll and this just goes to show the difference between home saved seed. There is 1 gap there, but for some reason I've accidentally planted 2 in that one and that one, so I can transport one of those. So I've got a full tray. You wouldn't get anything like that with bought seed. So yeah, these I think are going to be fairly leggy. I may have left them on the heat mat a day or 2 too long, although you've still got some coming up. They've extended very rapidly, so those will need planting deep when I do repot them, and I'll probably need repotting in about 2 weeks, thereabouts. But I'll show you those once they've unfurled and looking a bit more tomato-like. Again, very low heat on those. So yeah, that's it for this week, and I will see you next week. I might pop a couple of pictures of some of the bits I've been getting up to this week on the end, but if not, I'll see you in a week.